For many of us, faith is an inward thing. But how do we take our faith and go outward with it? How do we go from a Christian introvert into a contemplative in action? Stay tuned and I'm going to let you know. Hey, what's up YouTube? So we've spent a lot of time so far in other videos talking about prayer, and that's great for building our inward relationship with God. But that's not the only direction we need to go. Now, of course, this YouTube channel is called Directional Faith, and my goal is to help you find where you're going to go in life in all aspects, not just in your personal life or anything like that, but also where do you want to take your relationship with God? And it's not just into prayer time, that you need to go beyond prayer time, and that's what I'm hoping that I'll address in this video for you. So what is that next step? Well, really, it's outward faith. We need to go from being that Christian introvert, somebody that's so focused inward on our own relationship with God, and learn how we can take those lessons and bring them out into the world with us, right? That's what St. Ignatius wanted for all of us. It wasn't just a faith where we spent a lot of time figuring out what God wanted for us and what His will for us was. It was to go beyond that and realize, okay, this is His will. Now I need to go put that in action. Because, faith without action is dead, right? That we need to act on the things that God is calling us to do. God isn't calling all of us to sit in a room and pray all day like a cloistered monk, right? We're being called to do more than that. And so whether it's in a full-time ministry or just in your regular life with your family and your coworkers, out at the soccer field with all their kids' friends, doesn't matter wherever you're at, we need to live out our faith in a more dynamic way. So believe it or not, I'm actually pretty introverted. I'm shy by nature. Probably doesn't seem like it because I'm sitting here on these videos, but it's easy for me to sit here and talk to a camera and have a conversation with you. But in a face-to-face situation, especially in crowds, it takes a lot of energy for me to get through that type of situation. And so when it comes to my faith, that's my natural thing too, is that I kind of keep it within, and I'm, more determined to build my life in prayer and do those things and figure out how to grow, within my own soul than I am to reach outward with it. And so for me, it's actually almost an exercise to take what I'm learning and put it out there. And this is why I actually started the YouTube channel. This was my effort to try to get out of my shell, to get out of my Christian introvertedness and be a more contemplative and action type of person. So what exactly is a contemplative in action? Well, it's a phrase that was coined by the Jesuits. Of course, St. Ignatius, who you've heard me talk about before, founded the Jesuits. And the idea is that a contemplative is obviously somebody that spends a lot of time in prayer, focused on, discerning God's will and doing those things. So a contemplative in action, though, is somebody that takes that time in prayer and then goes beyond that, right? That they take it outside of wherever they decide to pray at, whether it's in their home, at church, or wherever, and they take it out into the world with them. So if you're introverted like me, taking our faith outside of our home and outside of the church even, which is really kind of a safe place for us to share our faith, can be a challenging thing. When we're spending time with family and friends that maybe don't have the same faith that we do, or when we're, just out in society, out at dinner, out at the mall, or meeting new people for the first time, to be open and share our faith and to be able to spread God's word, it's not always the easiest thing to do. A lot of times we get a little bit shy about those type of things, but we can overcome it. But beyond evangelization, we don't all have to start YouTube channels or start blogs or stand on the street corners handing out Bibles. We're not all called to do that, and that's fine. We can share our faith in our daily life in a lot of different ways, whether it's the conversations we have with our neighbors and our friends, or the way that we serve the public, maybe working at a homeless shelter or, feeding the poor, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of things that we can do to be more outward with our faith. So for me, being an introverted Christian, it's easy for me to build up my faith on the inside, to spend time studying, to spend time in prayer, to focus on my relationship with God. To go outward with it is difficult for me. It's something that I have to overcome. You might be facing the same thing. You might have a great prayer life at home, might be a very pious person, but when you get out into society, you clam up a little bit. At the same time, you might be the exact opposite. You might be someone that's great at doing all the service work and ministries out there and sharing your faith and doing all these things, but then struggle on the inside. And maybe I'll have to make a separate video for you. But for those of us that are struggling to go more outward with our faith, right? The best idea is that we can come up with some sort of plan of how do we do this? What is the basic process, and how do we go from being very inward to being very outward? So one method that will help us to be more outward is a 4-step process where we stop, reflect, go back to work, and repeat. So how does this process work? Well, the great part about it is if there were somebody that's already great at prayer, which is why I covered all those videos on prayer in the first place, because I think that's the first step, really. And that's what you do when you stop, right? When you stop, the first thing that you're going to do is take time for prayer. And you're going to quit what you're doing and set aside time, which is something that we all struggle to do. I've covered all that. We won't go into that again. But in this case, we want to take that time to stop so that we can give God some time in prayer. We're going to quiet our mind, we're going to pause, clear the world out of it, and then decide to take the next step. The next step is to reflect. And really this stop and reflect, I think together to me, reminds me a lot of praying the daily examine, which I'll put a link to at the end of the video here. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop, focus on God, clear out our minds, and then during that prayer time, we're going to reflect on our day, we're going to reflect on what's going on in the moment, or the things that we've struggled with, the things that have gone well, and come up with real actions that we can take back out into the world with us. The last phase of this is simply go back to work. Go back to the things that you were doing. And not just work, it doesn't mean that you're just going to do it at your job, right? You're going to take this into every aspect of your life because, let's face it, beyond work itself, there's a lot of things that are work. Because I can tell you, keeping up with my kids is a whole lot of work. So you're going to take these same ideas, the things that you've prayed about, and you're going to figure out what can I do today, tomorrow, the next day to start implementing the things that you learned in prayer. That when you reflected on your day and what went well and what didn't, you're going to be able to apply that when those situations come up again. And I'm sure they're going to. If you're having a hard time at work and maybe your boss is giving you a hard time and you get frustrated and you're struggling and you took that to God in prayer, and he gave you some sort of answer to kind of help guide you through it, you're going to be able to use that the next time you're in that situation with your boss. If you're struggling to be patient with your kids, the next time that they act up, hopefully you can do it with a smile on your face. It's hard to do, I know. Whatever situations may come up in the next day or two, you'll have spent some time preparing yourself for that. And that's why this is the next logical step. So in the first set of videos, we spent a lot of time talking about prayer because that's really step one, is to learn how to build that relationship with God so that you can start communicating with him. And in future videos, we're going to go deeper into this work idea, ways that you can serve and ways that you can live out your faith beyond just the day-to-day tasks. But really, before you start focusing on becoming a missionary and starting a YouTube channel and doing all these other things, don't worry about that yet. Focus on your current life right now, where you're at right now, and how you can start incorporating prayer and all the things that you're learning in prayer into your daily life. From washing the dishes to attending major events, whatever may be coming up, you'll be prepared to handle those situations. And after all that is said and done, the final thing that we're supposed to do is repeat it. Because this isn't something that you're going to do one time. This is something that you want to build into the routine of your life. When we stop, that might be something that's immediately in the moment. You might be stuck in traffic and frustrated, and so you stop for a minute, say a quick prayer, and continue right back on your way again. Or it might be the time that you stop and say a prayer at the end of the night, maybe the daily examine, to go back and reflect on what's happened throughout the day. Or maybe once or twice a year, you really stop and you take a weekend or a week and go on a retreat, and so that you can really refocus your life on faith again. And then when you go back to work after that, you'll take just a bountiful number of lessons back with you. One of the best times of my life was going on a silent retreat. It seems crazy, but trust me, it's the best thing ever. So this was a pretty basic video, but it's something that needed to be covered. That a lot of times we spend so much time thinking about prayer that we don't think about what we're going to do next with it. So really I just created this video as a reminder that once you're done praying, don't stop there. Take what you've learned. Make sure that you're applying what you've learned in your prayer time. Take the lessons that God has given you and do something with it. Don't just soak it up and build this inward prayer life. Make sure you're going outward with it. Make sure you become a contemplative in action. I really hope that you like this video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. YouTube's going to use that to show you content from me and from other Christian YouTubers that talk about similar type of topics, whether it's prayer, faith, all those things. So subscribe it down below. Make sure you hit the like button. If you don't like the video, go ahead and hit the dislike button twice, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.